Governor, today you unveiled a national service plan. Why the focus on service?
Because I believe it's critically important to our country that we actually take action to reduce youth unemployment. When you look at the potential that we have as a nation, when you look at young people and their desire to serve and to be connected to something larger than themselves, I think that the time is now for us to make national service a universal option for all American kids.
Can you give us a sense of what this will cost and how you'll pay for it?
Sure. I mean, we pay for it the way we pay for all sorts of things as a republic and a nation. I mean, we need to close loopholes. We need to ask the wealthiest among us to pay a little more.
Grace, I have to imagine that as a TFA alum, this really resonates with you.
Oh, definitely. I'm just so grateful to be able to be exposed to the 30 smiling faces every day and get to know them and their families better and really understand some of the issues that are facing our country at a really grassroots level.
I hear your students have very strong opinions about your father running for president.
They do. We haven't really sorted out the whole 8 years or 4 years per presidential term, so they would like Barack Obama to be their president indefinitely, and some have told me, like, I'm really not sure how I feel about this because I really like Barack Obama as my president, so I'm not sure what your dad's doing.
We are the Democratic Party, not the undemocratic party. If we are to debate debates, the topic should be how many, not how few.
The DNC is only scheduled 4 debates ahead of the primaries in February. By comparison, the Republican Party will hold 12 debates. You've said the DNC's debate schedule is, quote, rigged in Hillary Clinton's favor. Why?
Because it's unprecedented that we would try to limit the number of debates to just one before New Hampshire, just one before Iowa, and then to say that issue a decree that tells those of us offering our candidacies that if we participate in any more than the limited number scheduled, that we will be barred from attending other debates. That's never happened before in the Democratic Party. Right now, the only thing the American public is hearing from presidential candidates is coming from one party.
Our politicians are stupid, and the Mexican government is much smarter, much sharper, much more cunning, and they send the bad ones over because they don't want to pay for them, they don't want to take care of them. Why should they when the stupid leaders of the United States will do it for them? And that's what's happening, whether you like it or not.
And what's the response of the Democratic Party to some of the hate-filled and racist rhetoric coming from the Republican Party? It's silence. It's no debates. Unless we are out there talking about the ideas that matter around the kitchen tables of America, the only brand we have as a party are questions that Secretary Clinton is getting about her emails. I don't think that's good for us as a party. I don't think that serves our country's national interest. We need to allow debates.
I do want to focus on one question on news of the day. The Freddie Gray hearings have begun here in Baltimore. When it comes to issues of race and racial tension in this country, what do you believe is the biggest issue facing the African American community, and what do you plan to do about it?
When it comes to the issues of racial tensions, I think there are many issues, and sadly, I think a lot of white people have a difficult time talking about race. The key to our success as Americans is that in every generation we make greater progress to becoming a more just nation, a more inclusive nation. And I think it's very difficult for a lot of us who are white to appreciate the constant state of vulnerability within which many of our black neighbors live.
Well, then let me specifically ask you a question about Black Lives Matter. Secretary Clinton met with the Black Lives Matter activists and told them that without a clear plan, their movement will get nothing but, quote, lip service from as many people as you can pack into Yankee Stadium. Do you agree?
I think that the Black Lives Matter movement and group is actually making a critically important point. I mean, in our country, there is no such thing as a spare American. And since our nation's founding, we have devalued and undervalued black lives in our nation. You see it demonstrated in a number of ways, including the way we have in the past shrugged our shoulders at the large numbers of people who die violent deaths in the heart of American cities and act like there's nothing we can or should do about that. So I would disagree with Secretary Clinton. In fact, I think there are things that we can do that actually improve how we police the police, that improve police-community relations, that can reduce police-involved shootings, which we did here in Baltimore, driving them down to their 3 lowest years on record during my time as mayor. civilian review boards work if you give them their own independent detectives, doing reverse integrity stings to protect the integrity of your force, equipping police officers and police cruisers with the sort of body cameras that allow police departments to be on the cutting edge of an open and transparent society where all of us have cell phones and video capability on our cell phones. These are things that can actually work.
Grace, I have often sat where you sit right now, and I know what it is like to have a loved one in elected office. What is your biggest reservation about your father running for president?
Don't say my guitar playing.
Guitar playing, muscle t-shirts.
I also
When
hear...
she was little, she liked the music.
But then when did that stop?
Like 13.
Kindergarten.
Now, most important question of this interview, Governor, what is your advice for Kanye West as he prepares for a 2020 presidential race?
Is he preparing for a 2020
Indeed.
presidential race?
You haven't heard that?
Too busy to watch the MTV Music Video Awards?
Sorry.
As you probably could have guessed by this moment, I have decided in 2020 to run for president.
Well, I would tell him to make sure that he runs a campaign of ideas that actually serve our national interest and that'll make all of us better as a people. A campaign that leads with ideas is a campaign that can actually excite the American people. That's what I tell him.
Thank you both so much.
Thank you. Sorry I didn't know about Kanye West running in 2020.
Kim's gonna be the first lady.